Hey everybody, it's John again. I'm just prepping some of my rotors and just tire assemblies to bring them down and do some airbrushing. So I thought I'd turn on my camera and chat while I do this. So I got I don't know if you can see it over here. I don't want to move it too much. I've got the chassis and the engine in, but the engine fit wasn't like it's supposed to, so I'm just doing a little changing up to get it where it belongs. So this is supposed to be on the chassis to hold. This is the pin that goes into the transmission, but it didn't fit. The engine was sitting too far forward. So I took this out, put the engine in. I will put this back in, but I'm not so sure. Well, I know that the pin's not going to line up. So we'll see what will happen next. Just want to get the engine in there pretty solid first. All right, so let's start doing this. So I guess the main reason why I started this was because I was thinking about the community and seeing, oh geez, I don't know if you guys saw how much stuff Matthew got at Model Car Builder. I'll leave his link below so you can watch his video. I got these 3 ginormous boxes just full of kits. And then Jeff over at Jeff's Garage with me, and Jeff over at Jeff's Garage again with Blue Ox, who's also I will leave below, and I'll also leave Jeff's below. I can't leave the link for the person with Matt because they're from his Patreon page. But anyway, so it got me thinking. I think everybody knows, well, if you watch all my videos, everybody knows my faith. But anyway, got me thinking about humility because this community, most people in this community, I should say, are the definition of humility. Because I don't think everybody understands what that is. But biblically, humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. If that makes any sense. So I guess in essence, it's thinking of other people more often than you think about yourself. As far as, as far as everything, I guess. But yeah, and I see that. I see that a lot. And I've experienced it in this community. The humility of a lot of you, how you're just willing to help out. Granted, I can say, some people out there might say, well, it's only models. Well, it's not only models, because it's a heart thing. It's a heart and a mind thing. Because I know, and I've also seen the other side, where there's criticizing, and instead of being happy and in humility for somebody else's success or abilities, that they'd rather chastise and humiliate rather than be humble. So yeah, I think as far as the community goes, it's like the amount of humility and willing to help and share and advise is really, really impressive. You don't see that much anymore anywhere. Well, if you watch the news or whatever, you can see it all the time where there's no patience, there's no humility, there's no acceptance, I know I talked about this before, but I want to stay on the subject of humility anyway. So So yeah, so I explained what humility is, right? But there's also, whoops, put down a little reference paper here because, when I get thinking, I have to write things down or I forget. So in the New Testament, in Ephesians 4:12, 4:2, Paul says, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, right? To show humility, being patient. I've also seen that with a lot of you when you're showing your wives new things and stuff. And I know some of you have even been criticized, saying that you've shown too much, but I don't think so. But anyway, that's being patient, and being patient in love. I mean, it's what is that? That's being patient and not getting frustrated, right? So I know my father and my upbringing. Some of you have wonderful fathers and wonderful upbringing. I was on the opposite end of the spectrum. My father expected certain things of me, but yeah, there was no patience. Did he ever show me anything? Absolutely, absolutely. He showed me a lot. Was he patient about it? Absolutely not. So some things for me I learned, but they were not a pleasure to learn. So now when I use those skills I was taught, rather than them being a joyful memory that, look what my dad did and look what, instead they're painful. So yeah, so there's, about being patient with, I actually see that actually with Jason at Blue Ox too, with his son. There's no pressure. There's no, you have to be on YouTube. He's accepting of it. It's, like I said, some things you guys might think aren't big deals, but they are, in the eyes of the Lord, it's all a huge deal. So yeah, I am really impressed by all you guys with just everything about the hobby, and I think it's safe to say that if you're this way in the hobby, then it also extends to your personal life. Because I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. That if you have this attitude with strangers and people you don't know, and with your family, and the encouragement that you give them, and stuff, that you are like that in real life. And so yeah, also in Luke 4:11, we're backing up in the New Testament now. It says, "For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and all those who humble themselves will be exalted." So there's, when we all stand in front of Christ, depending on where you stand with Christ now, I guess it's, well, no, I shouldn't say that, because right now is important, but it's not as important as right then. If that makes sense. Because I don't want to be somebody who passes judgment on someone, because like the old saying, God doesn't send anybody to hell, because he offers you a way. They send themselves. So no, so we're saying that, especially in this day and age. But anyway, I said it's out there. But yeah, if you're not humble now, and you're just heavy-fisted and better than everybody, no patience, critical without, I mean, because we can all be critical, right? I think he wants us to be critical to an extent, but not in your face critical, a more in love critical. I guess you could use biblical way to treat people, right? If you have something critical to say about somebody, say it nicely with respect. And it also doesn't hurt to say something positive about them first. If you're going to criticize somebody about their models, we'll use me for instance. It's, hey John, that car you painted came out great. But maybe if you did this, that kind of thing. Because it doesn't put people down immediately and hurting their feelings as soon as you open your mouth. Yeah, I don't think, humility is such a bad thing. I think everything that is in Scripture and God has passed down to us it definitely is not there to put us above everybody. It's there to teach us how to treat everybody. And you know what? I know I'm not. I have total faith in Christ, but just for the sake of argument, say I am wrong. Like I said, I truly believe I'm not. But if I am, and it's the end for me, and I'm on my deathbed, and am I going to have any regrets? I'm sure I'll have a few, but will I have lived my life not as much for me, but as much as I can for others? And will I feel good about that? Even if I am wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll still have praise for Scripture no matter what, because it helped me try to be the best person I am to all those around me. I don't agree with everybody's beliefs. I don't agree a lot of the political atmosphere right now. I don't believe with the tyranny of the I don't agree with you argument between both people, right? I mean, we can point fingers at certain ones or this one or that one, but I think when it comes down to it, both sides are being just as unaccepting of each other, and whether they're right or wrong, that's going to be their piece to make. We can love them, we can point them in the right direction, like when Christ sent the disciples out to bear witness. They were to go with only the tunics on their back, right? Says a double-edged sword, but I really don't believe, and I don't think, and I know Christ didn't mean take a double-edged sword so you can strike somebody down. No, a double-edged sword being prepared to speak the truth, but also speak it in love. So, but he did tell them, you tell them once, you tell them twice, and after that, you shake the dust off your feet at their doorway and you move on. But like I said previously in a different video, it's not to yell and scream and point fingers and say you're going to hell because. No, that's God's job. That's God's Scripture's job. If they're a true believer, then they'll do their best to change. Does he expect you to be sinless? He does, but is that going to keep you out of hell if you profess your faith? No, but he doesn't want us to go around say, well, I'm going to spit in this guy's face because then I can ask forgiveness and God will forgive me. No. That's not how it works. It's more of a practice of renewing your mind. It's not, I'm going to do this anyway because I know God will forgive me. It's more of, I'm really trying to straighten out what I'm doing so God can say to me, well done, my good and faithful servant. And that's all humility. All this is humility. Our pride gets so much in the way. My pride gets in my way all the time, especially with friends and people I know. If somebody criticizes something to me that I know really well, sometimes I'll automatically get defensive. Not that I'm hurting anybody, I'm hurting myself more because I'm getting defensive. And I could say, well, that comes from my background. But you know what? I'm almost 60. I'm getting there. Sometimes it's time to let some of that go, and God has helped me with let a lot of it go. But yeah, we're always a work in progress. You know, we are the clay and He is the potter. We're always on that pottery wheel, always growing. And if you knock somebody down because of their sin, and what they say, you point one finger, you got three pointing back right at you. Yeah, sin is sin. Sin is sin. There's no sin greater than another, and Jesus died for all of them. Just think about that. Roll around in your mind every evil thing you can think of in this world. Every evil thing Jesus put on Himself on that cross, and then let's not forget that He rose again and conquered death. Jesus was an example of ultimate humility. He allowed Himself to go through all that for us. That's humility. That's humility right there. That's ultimate humility. Turned into a longer sermon than I intended, but yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that it makes me feel very blessed to be part of a community that is so humble, and humble to each other, humble to those who are starting out, humble to those who have been in it for a while. And there's been great support and humility for those who have been criticized for not being able to do things that they would like to do, but are still a big part of the community. So yeah, so I just thank you all for your humility. Thank you for showing your humility towards me. And I hope that I can express that same to you. All right. So with that, God bless you all, and thank you very much. But I'm going to mix some paint now and bring these down and airbrush them. I got great advice from Got Fuels. I'll also leave his link below. I could use beeswax. Just roll it and form it around the seal, and I just might do that. I am going to upgrade on my brush, but for the time being, when I was looking for the little rubber gasket online to see if I could buy it somewhere, I learned that what came with my air compressor, is the bottom of the line, which is a 0.0. So I really don't want to use that for too much longer. And I lost the gasket ring, it gives me an excuse to get another one. I know what I want, and I'd like to get an Iwata. I think mostly because it's in Hobby Lobby, and when I need anything for it, I can just go there and get it. But I've also read a lot of good things about it. So they do have the dual action trigger, which I don't know if it makes a difference to use. It looks really cool though. But other than it looking really cool, that's the only reason why I like to get it. And it does actually. It looks like it might be a little easier to control. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking of getting. So I'm gonna mix up some paint, go downstairs, spray these up, and I will bring you down there with me, if you're still with me. All right, just hang on for a second. Well, here we are, down in the basement. I got my air gun, my airbrush, have these, and I'm using my siphon feed right now. I gotta get some, although I do have, it came with my water cleaning kit that I got at Hobby Lobby. It did come with a wax stick. That'll probably work. So that's what I'll do. Before I paint next time, I will use the wax stick on my dual action. Right now we're on siphon, and here we go. I really like airbrushing all my parts now. Sure, this is the first model I'm airbrushing everything, other than the really teeny tiny ones. But I think the look is so much better. Got everything I wanted to paint down here, so that'll do it for today. I will keep you updated. Again, thank you to all my subscribers, new and old. And if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share, all this will help me in the algorithm and help my channel grow. I appreciate all of you so much for tuning in and watching my videos every time I post them. It truly is a blessing, and it's a blessing to be part of this community where everybody is just so kind and so helpful. Just makes somebody feel good to be part of a community when everybody's so welcomed. So thank you for joining me. I will see you next time. Thank you, and God bless.